If I asked you, what hidden feature do you think this desk has? What would you say? Now, because you clicked on this video, you'd probably say home theater. You'd be right. With just the press of a button, this desk can transform into a home theater that's got a 100-inch screen, 7.2 surround sound, and high-quality 4K video quality. And I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. And spoiler alert, it actually wasn't that hard. It did take some luck though, but I'll explain that later. And before we build this thing, let me explain what it is you actually just saw and how we're going to do this whole thing. So what we got to do is find a way to have Home Assistant communicate with this desk. The desk is a standing desk, so it can go up and down, but by default, it has no way to communicate with any sort of outside source. So we need to figure out a way to do that. Next, we have to figure out a way to get my monitor out of the way. See, my monitor is actually just a 43-inch TV. My plan is actually back in 2020, I built a smart bed. And that smart bed had a TV that would lift out of the foot of the bed using a TV lift. But I bet I could probably make it work with Home Assistant. Then we need to actually get the projector into the proper location, because even if it's right up against the wall, even if it's an ultra short throw projector, it won't be able to accurately make a right size image on the screen. So we have to move that into position. To do that, we're going to use stepper motors and linear rails so that it can smoothly and accurately move to the right position and then be able to project onto the screen. The screen is going to have to be something that can also appear and disappear because there's a window right in front of it. So to do that, we're just going to use a motorized projector screen. And then that way we can also talk to Home Assistant, tell it to move it down to the proper position, and boom, it should be good. So for this, I want to start off with the projector screens. And that's right, I said screens as in two. See, the plan is I'm going to try something a little interesting. See, this room has two massive windows in it, and I want to try using these projector screens as blinds. See, these are 100-inch projector screens, and for the price of them, it was actually pretty affordable. I mean, at least compared to what custom-made motorized blinds would be that would fit these windows. Now, I know, this price doesn't represent all smart blinds anywhere, but nothing's beating the price of those projector screens, so. Now, don't get me wrong, these blinds, or projector screens really, are by no means the most classy looking thing, but they work, and they work really well. And because they're projector screens, they're naturally blackout, which means no light comes in. Plus, they're motorized, plus they use an RF remote, which is important because it means I can control it with Home Assistant. So yeah, that's what we're gonna go with. Okay, let's discuss what I meant by luck earlier, as well as I guess discuss the projector. See, a local electronics store was doing a home theater giveaway. They were giving away a bunch of sound equipment and home theater projectors. Probably figure out where this is going. I signed up, expected nothing to happen. 2.5 weeks later, I got a message saying, hey, you won this projector. Come pick it up. Now, the projector I won is called the Hisense L5H. Now, I'm no projector guy. I don't really know what's great, but from first glance, it does say 4K HDR and laser right there in the name. So that's gotta be worth something. $2,000 actually is apparently what that's worth. Plus, look at these pictures. Look how stunning they make it look. It's gotta be great. But what's really important here is this. It's an ultra short throw projector, which just like me in dodgeball means it has to be super close to the target to be able to actually hit it or project an image onto the screen. Now, I said this earlier, but I want this entire thing to be controlled with a single press of a button. When I press this, I want everything to happen. Now, I already explained that that's going to mean moving a TV and a desk and moving everything into place, but it also is going to control all the automations, which is why I'm using Home Assistant. It's going to turn on things like my sound system, which I won't talk about too much, but it's a 7.2 surround sound that I bought used for this project online. It is going to get turned on and put into all the right settings it needs to be able to run on the projector from Home Assistant, as well as things like the projector screens coming down and other automations that control lights and all that. Now, it's also probably a good idea to explain how Home Assistant is going to communicate with everything, because by default, a lot of this stuff doesn't connect to Wi-Fi. Like the smart desk, for example, it moves up and down through the press of these buttons. You can set what height you want it to go through as a preset, press that button, and then it moves to it. But it doesn't do that through the internet. So what I had to do was actually take this apart, and inside I soldered some wires to the contacts and basically just set up a microcontroller that will flick a relay to close these two contacts, and then connected that to Home Assistant. And as for the monitor that's connected to a TV lift, that I just bought on Amazon as well back in 2020 when I did the bed project. That actually has an RF connection, which can be controlled the same way as the blinds through a IR blaster. And then you just connect that to Home Assistant. So super simple. To move the projector, all I'm using is 2 drawer slides and a threaded rod attached to a stepper motor. But originally I was using linear rails that I 3D printed and a timing belt. And this actually worked really well. But holding the projector when it was fully extended, I could see that the rails were starting to deform a little bit after only like 5 minutes, so it was clear it wasn't going to work. Though to be fair, if they weren't 3D printed, it probably would have worked fine. But they're pretty expensive. Like the drawer slides I bought, $14 for 2. Linear rails, probably closer to like $40 for 2. So, plus it slides out just the same. Okay, that's enough of the build. I want to see this thing actually work. It's all activated by pressing this button. The blinds start lowering, desk raises, TV gets into place. So far, everything's working. On the first try, no less, which doesn't happen often. It's amazing how this super bright room in the middle of the day can be transformed into a pitch black movie theater. Just from some curtains lowering, which, yes, there's still the room lights on, but those will turn off. So it works pretty well, actually. I'm pretty impressed it worked on the first try, which doesn't normally happen. Hey, that's what I said.
There's a few things I got to work out. Oh, it's got eye protection. You can see around the sides that it's kind of curving in on itself.
Let me stop you right there, bad audio, Taitum. I'll voice over instead. So you see how on the sides of the screen it's a little curved in? That's actually happening because of the projector screen. Well, this projector didn't actually come with this screen and wasn't intended for it. It actually came with its own screen you're supposed to use. One that's solid and isn't supposed to ever get moved. You hang it up, you leave it there, you're done. However, there's literally nowhere in this house that I can fit a 100-inch screen that will just stay there permanently. Which is why I'm actually doing this whole project to begin with, because I don't have the space for it. And as for the projector screen that came with it, well, for now, it is just sitting in the closet. Good resale value, though. Now, I suppose that's something I should talk about, is quality. It's kind of hard to judge this thing based on the fact that I'm not using the proper screen, but it still looks really good, especially from afar. Yes, if you pay attention to one spot long enough, you will start to see the grain that is this projector screen, but that doesn't really bother me. And yes, the curved edges also can be annoying, but you kind of learn to just deal with it. It's not the projector's fault, it's just how it is. And I've been using this thing for about 3 months now, and I can truly say that I really don't see a big deal. It's pretty awesome, honestly. And not even for just watching content, even playing some games on is pretty nice. Yes, nothing competitive because such a big screen is hard, but things like casual games can be pretty sweet on here. For example, playing Elden Ring is pretty enjoyable. Sucks that I had to die in this clip, but it is Melania. I mean, what do you expect? Now, it should go without saying, obviously the quality isn't going to be as great for you guys. I am recording it through a camera on a screen that isn't designed for it. So yeah, it's not going to look that great for you guys, but take my word for it. Overall, really happy with how it turned out. Me and my girlfriend use it tons and really happy with it. Oh yeah, I guess I didn't show how I actually made the desk. It's a piece of plywood with a hole cut out in the middle so the TV can go through it. Bye.